Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. It's good to see you all. I'm very well. I was laying in bed this morning. Hi, Marcy. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Tasha. Thank you, Ashley, for the badge. Good morning, Andrea. So I wanted to share something. I was laying in bed this morning, and I think this is an important perspective when it comes to what we're doing here on the planet, what we're really actually doing here on the planet. And when these perspectives come in, when these lens shifts come in, I really want to share them with you because it's it can help us navigate what we're going through on the planet. You know, nobody's getting through this unscathed. This is a really massive shift in consciousness. And what we forget is what that actually means, because we get caught up in the physical reality that we're in. So we get caught up in our thoughts, we get caught up in our emotions, we get caught up in our attachment styles, we get caught up in our trauma, we get caught up in, defense mechanisms, coping mechanisms. We get caught up in all of these labels and the ways in which we have been taught to be in this world. And what we forget is that that is exactly what we are actually evolving out of. And so it's this loop that we kind of find ourselves in, right? Where you're spiraling and spiraling and spiraling, but you slowly start spiraling up. And up isn't higher than, better than. Up is just out of the deep, deep programming that humanity has been in on this planet for thousands of years. And so there are multiple ways in which you and I are experiencing this shift right now. And so many people call it the awakening and the evolution and all of these things, but we still get caught up in what we're in. We still get caught up in I have to heal. We still get caught up in I have to understand how to regulate my nervous system. We still get caught up in I have to figure out what my attachment style is so that I can become more free in my relationships, etc. On one level, that completely makes sense, okay? But from the level of evolution, or a shift in consciousness, which means that it is a shift in frequency, what's actually happening to you and I right now is that we are literally pulling ourselves out of programming. And I'm not talking about just like mind control programming. I'm talking about the programming of how you actually see the way in which you are shifting through your life. That this is everything that you are in right now is still part of the illusion that you need to fix yourself or change yourself or heal yourself. That you need to, we're still stuck in these programs of even how to heal or change or get through or whatever it is. And this is not about moving into some sort of beautiful state where you don't feel anything. It's quite the opposite. It is this intense descending back down so deeply into your physical body and so deeply into the density of this physical world that you find yourself no longer able to control anything. And then the deprogramming starts. You start to find yourself in absolute confusion over and over again. The deprogramming starts. You start realizing that all the ways in which you have tried to get through things isn't working anymore. That's when the deprogramming starts. You see what's happening here from a bigger perspective. And again, this doesn't take away from your pain. I'm going through it as well, right? Like, I'm not immune to this. Nobody's immune to this. Nobody on the planet is immune to this, because it is a global, collective, energetic shift for this entire planet. You're either consciously, humbly recognizing what's happening, or you're still playing in the deception and the programming that this is a third dimensional world that you just loop through over and over and over again and continue to find your healing, and then you fall into something else, and then you heal that, and then you fall into something else. So here's what's happening. And take it with a grain of salt. Again, this isn't going to necessarily, propel you out of pain or grief or loss or confusion. It's going to propel you deeper into it, because everything that's happening to the human right now is happening in the body. The shift in frequency, which is consciousness, is happening in the body. The shift in awareness is happening in the body. Quite simply, the body is shifting energies or frequency. Now, okay, great. That's great, Lori, but how do I get through my grief? How do I get through the pain? How do I get through the anger? How do I get through the heartbreak? How do I get through all that? Right? First of all, you have to realize what's happening. You have to remember what is actually happening, the bigger picture. If you don't remember this, you will get caught up in this dense physical reality. You will think that there's something wrong with you. You will think that you have to change or fix yourself. You're not changing or fixing yourself, because you aren't that which needs changing or fixing. What is happening is your true essence, who you are as soul or spirit or whatever the fuck you want to call it, is awakening within you, beginning to lead the show. It's starting to lead you. And what happens when that happens is that the deprogramming starts to happen. You start realizing, oh my God, I am not who everyone has told me that I am. Oh my God, I am not these relationships. I'm not this job. I'm not the thoughts that I keep having that don't go away. I'm not these emotions. I'm not the one that even gets fixed or that even needs to change anything. I'm not the one that's changing. I'm not the one that's being fixed. The awakening journey, the process of evolution, this consciousness shift happens inside the body through frequency, embodying soul, spirit, God. It doesn't matter. That's not a fantasy anymore. This isn't some sort of like spiritual teaching. This is physics. That's it. And we can label it as, a spiritual talk, or we can label it as, very much disassociated or, bypassing, whatever you want to call it. It's not. If you are realizing that shit's getting more and more intense, then you are descending back down into your body. And when you descend back down, which means that your awareness of what you're paying attention to is moving back down into your body. And when that happens, you start to realize, holy shit, there's a lot going on that I'm feeling, that I'm hearing, that I'm seeing, that I can't control, that I can't change and fix. And the more humble you become aware of that, the more you step deeper into, you embrace or you fall back into who you have always been. You have not been the person that you are playing. You are not the attachment fucking styles. You're not the defense mechanism shit that we do. You're not the heat trauma that you have to heal. You're not the thought. You're none of that. And I'm not saying that in terms of like, oh, here comes some great awareness practice. No, like you are not it, and you are deprogramming yourself. So guess what's going to happen? Every single day, you're going to be uncomfortable and crunchy in some way, shape, or other, some way, shape, or whatever it is, because you're going to be shown the programs. You're going to be shown how people are going to tell you what to do, what to think, what to feel. You're going to be shown that when you are in sadness or in grief or in depression, you're told that you have to go do ... Get out of the house, go do this, go do that. You're going to realize that you're being told that there are separations, there are sides, there's division, there's this, there's that, there's right, you're going to be told all of these things. Who's being told these things? Who's following these things? What's deeper? What's behind it? And so what is happening to so many of us is we are losing our identification. We're losing who we are. And listen, there's probably billions of humans that have no idea what I'm talking about. That's fine. The evolution in human consciousness doesn't happen in one swell swoop of humanity. It happens in phases. Phases of humans and phases within those humans. So I always like to think of it as like being on the front lines. Okay, so there's a front line of humans going first and then going second and going third and going fourth and going fifth and going sixth. Okay, that's kind of how I see it. And the group in the front line, you know, they've already moved through like 7 layers of this journey of peeling back the programming, stepping deeper into, descending down into physical form, surrendering to life, no longer controlling, letting themselves be in whatever it is they are in. They don't need to read all of these books in order to figure out what to do, because they realize that even all of that is programming. Then you've got the layer behind them, the second tier of humans, right? And they may be on like, level 5, and then the group behind them are on level 4. This is a domino effect. It's a domino effect that's happening right now. But this has everything to do with energy in the body. Period. That's what evolution is. That is evolution. It is not in your mind. It is not through control. It's not through changing. It's through being so uncomfortable, so out of control, so confused, so in emotion, because it's not you. So you realize you can be in all of it. And courageously continuing to stay inside, descend back down into the body, and recognize over and over and over again all of the ways that you have been told how to be. These programs have been around for thousands of years. And the planetary shift in consciousness occurs human body by human body. By human body. This is what's happening on the big perspective. You can go back into the little perspective of just you sitting around trying to figure out how you're going to get through your attachment style. Or you can start looking at the bigger picture at the same time and realizing that these attachment styles are still just part of the matrix. It's still just part of this third dimensional world, and you don't actually need it. What you need is to be able to stay inside your body and be aware of everything that you are doing and thinking and feeling. Being aware of what you are being told and what you follow without actually thinking about it. Being aware of what you are afraid of. being aware of what you're trying to get out of because you don't like what you're in. There's no mistake or accident of you being here. Many people aren't going to like this talk, and they're going to turn it off, and people want to be in denial. They want the quick fix. They want to say, this is part of the programming of this matrix. Give me the quick fix. Take this from me. You know, heal me. Fix me. And that's going to work and work until we finally realize what we're doing here. What this is all about. And what it's all about is no longer trying to get out of, get rid of, fix anything. It's simply being aware of what you are in. And it's being aware of all of the deep, deep programming of how you see it, how you're viewing it, the labels that you use. Narcissism, right? What are some other abusive things? You know, I don't know. I don't even know. That just flew out of nowhere. Thank you so much for those of you that bought the badge. Is this making any sense whatsoever? First of all, it's in your DNA. This is not something I'm making up. This is the history of humanity. This is the history of this planet. This is why you're on the planet right now. This is how we change the world. Period. We change the world by stepping out of these deep, 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 deep programs. And that's why what's been arising for me lately is, one, I just feel completely lost. And I'm allowing myself to feel like I'm drowning, and then I'm coming back up for water. And then I'm drowning, and then I'm coming back up for water. I'm noticing myself reaching for things so that I can, reaching for teachings or anything that can help me understand what I'm going through. And then I'm realizing that I'm letting all of that go, and I'm just sitting in the abyss. I'm sitting in the unknown. I'm sitting in the silence. And it's this ebb and flow. It's this back and forth. Over and over and over again. Where do you feel insecure? Where do you feel lost? Where do you feel unsafe? Where do you feel where you're most trying to control things? Really starting to pay attention to this. Because whether you understand this or believe this, this is going to start happening to more and more humans. There is this deep, deep deprogramming where what has worked in the past will not work anymore. You're not going to be able to get that fix anymore. You can run as much as you want from life, but eventually you're going to have to stand in it. And when you stand in it, it's a descension back down into the body. You're standing in body as soul. In body as spirit, whatever you want to call it. This is not anything other than how this energy works on the planet. This is how frequency works. People don't like this when I say this, but it's true. You're not changing in frequency, the body is. You're just inside this vessel like a car. You're inside the car as a passenger. And the car is what is changing. The car is what is moving. The car is speeding up or slowing down, not you. Your vibrational rate and tone and frequency is far beyond the physical body and this planet. It doesn't need to evolve into any other frequency. It's here for the ride. The evolution in human consciousness is the vessel that soul or spirit or God is in, is what is shifting, evolving into higher frequencies. And when it does that, it offers the soul or the spirit new ways to experience the physical reality. That's what's happening. That's why when we say, I need to change this, I need to fix this, who? You're none of that. Well, yes, I am. The character's playing that because the body is still in a frequency that believes that. That's okay. It's fine. But every moment that you're in this cocooning phase, every moment that you want to go and curl up, do it. Every moment that you are gifted the opportunity to feel something intense, do it. This is alchemization, alchemy. It's alchemy. It's alchemizing the programs, which is energy. Thought is an energy. Emotion is an energy. Trauma is an energy. It's all energy. And if you're gifted the opportunity to feel trauma or to feel an emotional state or to really feel and listen to a thought and you don't do it, you are literally prolonging the body's ability to continue to increase in frequency, which is simply allowing you to remember who you are, which is not the human personality. It's all energy. That's what this game is all about. And so we are gifted over and over and over again opportunities to step out of relationships, friendships, jobs, places to live, all kinds of stuff in order to bring us into the unknown. And when we are stepping into the unknown, we are shown all the feelings we don't want to feel. Why? Because when we are in things that are comfortable, we know that we're not going to feel anything uncomfortable. So we're in control in some way, shape, or form. But when you start to courageously change your life, which is what's happening to almost all of us, you are going to start to feel and hear thought and feel emotion that make you feel uncomfortable, out of control, which is just energy alchemizing itself, gifting you the opportunity to feel it so that it can move through the body, which is what energy is designed to do. And the human personality that you think you are is starting to remember how this works and allowing it so that it can be gifted with new ways of being on this planet that are less controlling and programmed. So what that means is that as you still remain this character, this human, this personality inside this physical body that's shifting, this physical body that is gifting you with uncomfortableness, it's gifting you with sadness, it's gifting you with grief, it's gifting you with fear, it's gifting you with not being in control, it's gifting you all of that because those things are stuck in your body that need to move. Many of you are being called to just chill the fuck out in your house. And you are fighting against it because you have all of these programmed ideas of why it's not okay. I've been doing this for too long. I'm lazy. Nothing's happening. Right? Like there's something wrong with me. I should be out. And whatever it is. That part of you, we can call it the ego. You can call it whatever you want. That part of you is just a part of you that is deeply, deeply connected, associated with the programming of this world, which is all the thoughts that are telling you that you're not good enough, you shouldn't be doing this, don't, whatever. But this is beyond that. Every moment that you're judging yourself, every moment that you don't want to feel, every moment that you are ignoring, denying, feeling out of control, every single moment you're trying to get to shift and to fix and to do any of it. Remember this. This isn't about the you that's in charge. This is about the you that is trying to get your attention so that you can start to live the life that you came here to live, so that we can show humanity the life that humanity came here to live, which is out of deep, deep programming. The deep, deep programming that you're stepping out of is that you can trust life, that you can be in anything, that you are not less than, that you are deserving of life, you're deserving of love, you're deserving of abundance. You are, you won't be hearing words coming into you from anybody judging you, belittling you. There won't be these aggressive, fear-based arguments in your life anymore. And when we start to create that in our life, we start to create that in the world. We start to live that way out with others because we have now learned how to live it within ourselves. And the only way to do this is to descend deeply into the body where you are letting go of control, where you are recognizing program, where you are feeling everything, where you are remembering that this is an energetic game. And you know, there's so many, like, you know, there's so much out there that's like, oh, this is all energy and we're all energy. But nobody's fucking living that way. We're still in control. You can't control energy. You're standing in a cloud called the third dimension, whatever else you want to call it, a matrix, whatever. Your body's standing in it. You're standing in it. You can't get out of it. Good luck trying. And that part of you that's trying to get out of it is in denial of what it's in. So you're standing in this cloud, and in this cloud is what we call the quantum field. It's everything, every emotion, every thought, every behavior, every experience is available in this cloud. It's all available. And none of it is wrong. None of it is bad. It's all the experience. And what we don't like to feel is what stores in the body and keeps the body in the frequencies that it's in. When we allow everything to be felt and seen because we know that we're not the cloud, then the body's more naturally going to start shifting into these higher frequencies. When the body shifts into these higher frequencies, which is what it's trying to do every single day by showing you what you don't want to feel, it's gifting you, the one you think you are, opportunity to be completely differently. But if you think that you're doing this, that if you read all these books and take all these classes and take all these courses, that somehow you're going to be able to be in new ways, you're still in the denser reality of this matrix, of this programming. And you can do all that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful until you realize that that's not what this is about. It's not. That's only going to help you so much because it's still you trying to get out of something. It's still you trying to control something. It is. As sucky as that sounds. That's why this is the most courageous thing that a spirit can do or a soul can do, is come into a physical body right now on the planet. The way that you be differently is that you stand in everything you're in and you allow it. You're humble to it. You're recognizing it. You're realizing that you feel lost. You're realizing that you're out of control. You realize that you don't have answers. And when you sit with that long enough, you will start to see what's next. You will start to be shown what's next. Your soul is always walking you through this. Who incarnated into this body? The name you think you are? The personality that you play? Who exits out of this physical body when the body's dead? The personality? The ego structure? The part of you that thinks that you're this trauma and all these defense mechanisms and attachment styles? Is that who descended down into the body and who leaves the body? No, it's the soul. So where's the soul right now? The soul is trying to walk the you that you think you are into these new ways of being over and over. And it requires deep faith and trust in life. It requires being out of control because the one that you think you are is not going to be able to get you there. Something bigger that's you is getting you there. And I want to preface this. I'm not saying that it's not, that don't go and get help or don't go and do things that are going to relieve the suffering or the pain. Go and do that. Do it as long as you want. But what I'm saying is this evolution in consciousness, this great awakening, this thing that everyone talks about. It's quite simply physics, body shifting frequency, soul inside body trying to guide the human that you think you are through this by deprogramming, unwinding all of the ways that you have been taught to be in this world. So how conscious can you get of what you think, of what you label, of how you see things? And what's happening now on the planet is more and more of us, we're becoming more numb. They're distracting us. Social media is distracting us. The external world is distracting us. And the more and more that we are distracted, okay, the more and more that we get, that we're scrolling on phones or scrolling on YouTube or any of that, the farther away we are from our own descension down into body. It's very uncomfortable to just shut all of that off and be with what is. Because once you sit with what is, you're gonna try to figure it out. You're gonna try to make sense of it. You know? You're gonna try to fix you or heal you. This is next level. It's next level. So that's that. I just wanted to share this lens to remember, and to remember the magic of this life, right? The miracle of what we're going through. The miracle of what we're in. It's a freaking miracle. It's unbelievable what we're going through. It's unbelievable what's happening here. We've completely forgotten. We're in absolute amnesia, because if we remembered what we were doing, and I'm lost in it too, because there's a lot of grief I'm feeling, a lot of sadness I'm feeling, a lot of confusion I'm feeling, a lot of insecurity, a lot of lack. There's so much I'm feeling. So much. And I'm sitting in it saying, dear God, I hope at some point the answers arise within me, right? But then I also remember, holy shit, this is the physical evolution. This is a physical shift. This is not, let's sit in lotus and bring ourselves into some love and light place. Let's just like positive think our way out of here. You live in a third dimensional matrix that is full of duality and polarity. If you think that you're going to try to control yourself only feeling happy, only feeling good thoughts, only being in certain things, you are resisting the actual process of descending down into the body to incorporate soul embodied, which is what all the masters did. They were souls walking in the body, playing the character, and they knew what they were doing. And they didn't try to control. You know, Jesus never said, I'm only thinking love and light. I'm only going to think positive thoughts. He knew who he was. Didn't matter. Whatever came and went through his body. He knew beyond those emotions. He knew beyond those thoughts who he was. So that didn't matter. If you know you're not emotion, if you know you're not the thought, you're not going to try to get yourself to only feel certain consciousnesses that are in this third dimensional matrix. That's insanity. What you want to do is go so deep into this body, this feeling state. You want to remember that the journey is to be in all of it, because you're none of it. And you want to remember that where we are going, which is always right here, right now, is ways of being on this planet that are steeped in freedom, which means that you are no longer being controlled. You're no longer being controlled by thought. You're no longer being controlled by other people. You're no longer being controlled by systems. You're no longer being controlled by emotions. You're no longer being controlled by certain stories. That if you have this disease, it means ... If you have this trauma, it means ... That's all programming. And that's also not to say that you don't want to shift your lens and say, holy fuck, I'm so grateful to be alive. You want to do that. You want to look out and you want to find the extraordinary in the ordinary. You want to look out and say, holy shit, look at that tree. In fact, I would so encourage you to see what you always see every day and find something beautiful about it. Last night I stepped out of my car and I just was like, fuck, I'm surrounded by trees. And I just stopped and I just stared at the trees. I was in awe of these trees and I see them every single day. So it's like, can you see when you look out? You know, I was looking at the squirrels today and I was just looking at squirrels and I was in awe of the squirrels. What can you be in awe of right now in your life? What can you be grateful for? What can you find magic in? You know, because this shift that we're going through, this evolution, this is next level. It's gonna take us. So we have to see God in everything. We have to start seeing the beauty. We have to start being even more kind to people. We have to start giving more. We have to start loving more. We have to start being more open and receptive to life. Not closed and shut down. It's like, yes, all of this is happening to you and for you so that you can be on the front lines of this massive shift in consciousness and simultaneously be kind, be compassionate, be loving, be receptive. I mean, this physical reality is a miracle. We forget that. It's a freaking miracle. And every moment of every day, we have the gift of seeing that miracle. And it's even a miracle in your own body, in your own breath. It's a miracle. It's so unfortunate that we forget what we're doing here. It's so unfortunate that we forget the story behind our incarnation. You know, it's unfortunate. But we're remembering more and more. We are remembering more and more. And so even though it seems like the focus is on you or the focus is on each individual, it's that individual focus. It's your own, it's taking self-responsibility for yourself that you can then go and change the entire world. That's how we do it. When you're kind to yourself, you are way more kind to other people. When you no longer judge yourself, you no longer judge other people. When you have compassion for yourself, guess what? You start having way more compassion for others. When you allow what's happening within you to be okay, guess what happens? You allow what's happening for others to be okay. And that's the domino effect. But if you're continuing to create a war inside of you, there will be war out there. If you continue to scream and yell at yourself and say mean things, you will continue, silently or not silently, say mean things. Critique and judge other people. Anyone that critiques and judges another person, I do it as well, is still critiquing and judging themselves. The world is a reflection of our inner world. This is the evolution. This is what we're trying to remember. I love you guys. I'll save this. Be gentle with yourselves. Be gentle with other people. It's someone asked me, you know, is it going to get better out there in the world or what's coming or whatever? And it's like, this is an energetic experience, right? So it's all energy. So it's going to get more and more intense because it's allowing you to break free from the programming, which means that the energy has to be felt inside the body. Every emotion has to be allowed and felt. And to think that you're not safe to feel every emotion is part of the programming from the get-go. And that's how we're controlled. That's how we control ourselves, and that's how the external world controls us, is through emotional states. That's why I'm so adamant about, if you feel everything, you're going to break free. I believe that in my deepest being. If you feel everything and you're not attached to any of it, you will break free. You will feel very free and safe in the world. Again, it's like standing in a cloud and saying, well, this is okay to feel, but this isn't okay to feel. None of it's you. It's just moving through the body, and it's felt a certain way. It's experienced a certain way. Okay, I love you guys. Mwah.